Hey everyone, Charles here at Nutrition 101, and of course at Jazz OCR Athlete and Urban Athlete Fitness on any social media platform. Today I want to talk to you about fasting, right? So I'm doing a 24-hour fast today. It's pretty hard to do that, but if you're acclimated to fasting in general, like intermittent fasting, which is what I do every day, it gets a little easier, and I'll tell you kind of how to do that. I'm going to give you the kind of little introduction to intermittent fasting. I thought that everybody knew what intermittent fasting was these days, because it's just engulfed in that lifestyle, and most of the people I'm around, colleagues and stuff, they know about that, or anyone in fitness or wellness, they know about intermittent fasting. But there's still this vast majority of people out there, the average person, that don't really know about it, and it surprises me. I'm starting to see more and more people that don't really know the details about it and the benefits of it. So when you do intermittent fasting, it's more of a lifestyle change, right? Not just a fad diet. And so it's very sustainable, right? Unlike keto, which is great, right? Keto helps fight disease and does amazing things, but it's not sustainable. You cannot do keto for a very long time. You shouldn't do it for a very long time. Let's just say that, right? Because then it becomes a little toxic after a while, and if you don't do it correctly, it can become dangerous. But it does work with fighting disease and helps with a lot of things, right? But it's not sustainable, right? Something like intermittent fasting is a lifestyle change, right? So it helps with combat a lot of different things that you may be dealing with or facing in your life, right? So intermittent fasting is when you fast for a certain period of time, minimum of 12 hours, which I think a lot of us are doing already. But you want to get up to that 16-hour fast, right? Which is what I do, 16 and 8, right? 8 meaning that 8-hour window to eat, right? To eat 3 meals. In some cases, if you're on a weight loss program, it's 2 meals, right? Depending on your calorie intake. Someone like me, endurance athlete, I'm burning a lot of calories. For me to just maintain my weight, my maintenance calories is going to be more like 3,500 or even more on some days, right? And that's just to maintain my weight. So now I do 8-hour window to eat 3 meals, and so you want to break up that calorie intake divided by 3 or 2, depending on how many meals you're eating, and depends on how long your fasting period is, right? Because I'm not saying stick with 16. If you can go 17, 18, if you're doing 2 meals a day, and let's just say you're on your last meal is at 8 p.m., right? Then your first meal, mathematically will be at 12 o'clock the next day. But if you're only eating 2 meals, then maybe push it to 1, 2, right? And then you eat at 2, and then you eat at 7, or 2 and 6, and 2 and 8, right? As long as you get those 2 meals in, and make sure you get enough calories per meal, you'll be in a good place, right? And so that you get kind of used to that. And I guarantee once you start to get acclimated to intermittent fasting, you're not going to get hungry anymore, right? A lot of things change in your body, right? When we're eating excessively, no rhyme or reason, just eating, and sometimes we have leptin resistance, right? Which is the hormone that tells us we're full. Sometimes we don't even know we're full. We just eat just to eat because it's right in front of our face, and we start to now eat, just eat what we love, which is not good, right? Because if we eat what we love, we're going to eat the crappy food, right? Well, you know what those foods are, right? But you have to start to learn to love what you eat, right? And so I eat to survive, right? So I'll eat a lot of the same foods, but I'm eating to survive. And especially because I don't feel hungry really ever, I kind of have to force myself to eat, because I know I need the calories to survive, right? I know I need what I need, right? So I'm going to strategically eat. And believe it or not, I make sure that most of my diet, or the higher percentage of my diet, is going to be fat. Believe it or not, when I tell people that most of my diet is, my calorie intake is fat, people are like, what? How could that possibly be? Right? Well, that's very outdated info if you don't think it is that, right? Because we've been taught and primed to think that fat is bad, right? In the 80s and the early 90s, or whenever that was, that like low fat, no fat diet, really, 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 really bad, right? Horrible. What we don't need is carbs. That's what we don't need. Now, I'm not saying don't go no carbs. I just say just much less carbs. So I'm taking 30 30%, 35% of your total calorie intake should be carbs, right? It should be protein and fat should just be your driven goal, right? Your drive every day is to make sure you get protein and make sure you get fat, right? Healthy fat, right? So I strategically eat, for example, I'll go down into my cupboards down there or my cabinets and prepare myself a meal. I'm going to eat my sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, a handful of like cashews, right? Any kind of nuts or seeds, right? We're good, but we want to make sure those are high fat, healthy fat foods, right? You do nut butters and things like that. Cheese, I usually eat some kind of hard block cheese. Aged cheeses are really, really good for you. But I make sure I eat cheese every day, which again, you probably heard was really bad, but not excessive. Again, just enough just to give me my fat dose for the day. Dark chocolate, right? The darker the better, right? The darker is also higher fat content, right? And less sugar. If it's milk chocolate, right, there's really not much fat at all, but there's a lot of sugar. So that's how you have to think about it, right? A strategic approach to your eating now, right? And so I try to make sure that percentage is high because I want to be full and satiated enough to get me through the next meal. Because one of the rules of intermittent fasting is no snacking in between. Absolutely no snacking. So if there's something that you know you like to snack on, eat it with the meal or just right after the meal, right? As opposed to just quitting it completely, because we're not trying to set you up for failure. We want to set you up for success. That's going to slowly get you to your goal, right? And that just might be just, making that segue a little easier, right? And not just quitting things cold turkey. Now, if you're eating the majority of your meal is that snack, that's the problem, right? If you could eat your salad and your eggs and your avocados and, leafy greens and all that, then have a cookie or two, or, whatever, piece of candy, whatever. I just do chocolate with a little nut butter. That takes care of my sweet tooth. I'm good, right? So you got to create a new norm for yourself. We're creatures of habit. We're used to doing things a certain way, eating a certain way, and we do this for years, for months, right? It just doesn't stop, right? And as long as don't look to change it or willing to change it or do what it takes to change it, we're just going to keep doing those things, right? We're wired that way, right? So we have to rewire the way you do things, right? The way you look at food, your relationship with food. A lot of times we have a very bad relationship with food, right? We eat it at the wrong times for the wrong reasons. Now I get it's sometimes part of our culture that we eat the things that are indigenous to our culture, and then we eat with family, it's part of the culture. Sometimes you're going to have to modify that or change it. It's not to say you can't eat those things anymore, but if you can't control yourself, then you're going to have to take some drastic measurements. Rethink your relationship with food, and it's not just eat it when you're stressed, not just eat it when you're sad or angry, right? Food has to be a way to survive and not just a habit, and not just something we do. But right now, if we start getting into intermittent fasting, right, it helps us now think about food choices wisely. How do we get the most bang for our buck? How do we get the most calories for our buck, or the most healthy calories for our buck? We could bang off 2,000 calories in a meal at McDonald's in, one shot, right? But we don't want to do that, right? Now we want to start eating strategically and healthy, right? And so it's not that easy to get calories in, healthy calories in, especially if you have a high calorie count like myself. It's not always that easy to get through 3,500 calories or more per day healthy, as opposed to, just kind of winging it every day, right? If you know what you're going to eat the next day and you prepare for that, you're setting yourself up for success. So just keep that in mind. All right, so now moving on. So we have your 3 meals a day in that 8-hour window. It's kind of important to kind of stick with that. And if you need to stretch it out, like I said, work your way up to 16. And then if you're getting good at that, then try 17, 18. And then you can get to the 24-hour fast, right? Which is where I'm at. One of the reasons why I do this is because I just had a weekend I went to a cookout, spending time with my kids, and, you're eating things that you don't normally eat. At least for me, I don't normally eat those things, not in that way. So I'm like, damn, I didn't have such a great weekend. And me being someone who was pre-diabetic, I had a lot of health issues at some point. I'm going to make a video just on that. And psoriasis, which attacks the skin in a very bad way. It's an autoimmune disease. Being I was suffering from those things. I had to make a change because I was going down a very bad path, right? And so now when I have a weekend of indulgence like that, my body kind of lets me know you done fucked up, right? You did something wrong, right? And so now I just have to heal again, right? And so now when you don't eat, it gives your body a chance to heal again. Let those organs kind of regenerate and start doing what it's supposed to do. Let the ecosystem work. Let the cells, regenerate, or autophagy, right? We talked that, right? That's about, if you look back at my other video, is cells need to go through a cycle, right? We need those hormones acting again. We need HGH, growth hormone. We can't do that if we're constantly eating and putting toxins in our body, right? Constantly putting our body under stress. We need to rest and relax. So these are the things, the processes that need to happen, right? And so fasting does that. It lets your body regulate and take care of itself instead of trying to break down food and release toxins. It puts the liver under an immense amount of stress. And it also helps with like aging. It reduces aging, right? Growth hormone, we need a lot of that. And plus our body oxidizes sometimes when we eat these horrible foods. So it lets our body just figure all that out. And then we start to just feel better, look better, right? I'm 50 years old. There's no denying that what I put in my body has gotten me looking this way, right? I strategically fight age. And I'm going to keep doing that, right? And so this is one way to do it. So intermittent fasting is a lifestyle. Just remember that. It's sustainable. You can do it. Sometimes if we need more calories than what I'm taking in, maybe it's not the best approach. But for now, I would say give it a try. Work your way up. That first couple of weeks are going to be tough. You're going to be pacing around the kitchen, just thinking about, damn, I want that, whatever's in that cupboard, right? Which is why I say protect the home first, right? Whatever is your vice, whatever the devil is in that cabinet, get it out of the house, or just don't bring it in, right? Don't invite the devil into your house, all right? If you do that and you only surround yourself and arm yourself with the good stuff, right? Kitchen makeover. And then when you're pacing around that kitchen, in the beginning, you might not even go for that stuff because that's not the most palatable stuff for you, right? Because it's not the cookies, it's not the ice cream, right? And so now you might not reach for it. It's going to be a little easier, but I guarantee you, this is a promise, not a guess. And after 2 weeks, you are not going to feel hunger anymore. Hunger is a thing of the past. When you get acclimated to fasting, you will not feel that urge to just eat, right? And I'm not to say I don't get hungry. I still do sometimes, but I could work out on an empty stomach for sure. And that's all I do is work out on an empty stomach, and I'm fine. Afterwards, that's when I'm eat, right? So if I work out in the morning, I come home, settle in, and then I'm eating at 12 o'clock. 12, 4, and 8, that's kind of my schedule. Try to make a schedule that works best for you and your family. If your last meal is at 5, then great, because then you can have your next meal at 9 a.m., right? But for me, that's not how my lifestyle works. But yesterday I did eat 5. That was my last meal, and I should be able to go today until 5. And so I picked a day like today where I had no work, a sedentary day, just folding some laundry. I don't have to run out and do anything crazy. No, I'm not going to work out today. Be much easier to kind of maintain my appetite and go the full 24 hours of fasting. So thanks again for tuning in. If you have any questions about it, just please leave a comment below. I have made some other videos in the past on intermittent fasting and different types and different ways to do it. You can look back at those videos, but this is kind of an updated version of it. It hasn't changed much. The science and research is still out there. Intermittent fasting is a great way to stay healthy and lose weight, and because it's not about losing weight to get healthy, it's about getting healthy to lose weight. Really, that's what it's about. So intermittent fasting will help you get there. It's just a platform for you to start this new life, create a new norm for yourself. All right, thanks again for tuning in. Charles Vasallo here, Nutrition 101 and Jazz OCR Athlete and Urban Athlete Fitness. See you soon. Later.